Hi, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Software Testing. My name is Knott, and I'm happy that you're here today. In today's video, I'd like to talk about the following topic. The topic is how to write a good bug report. For those who are new to software testing, a bug report is a really valuable piece of information that is helpful for product managers, it's helpful for developers, and it's helpful also for stakeholders to get an idea on the state of quality of the application. So what is a bug report for? A bug report should contain all necessary information in order to reproduce an issue or to identify a potential issue on the product under test. It might be a bug, it might be UI glitch, it might be a performance problem, it might be any strange behavior that you have seen while using the product on production systems, on a staging environment, or even on a development environment. And one thing to keep in mind is that don't hesitate to file a bug report, even though you think it's so stupid to file this bug, but maybe it's helpful information and it starts discussions around a potential issue that is in the application, but nobody has seen it before. On the other hand, it's important that you don't overdo it with the information in a bug report. And that's why I made this video today, because in my past years on my software testing career, I have seen many really weird bug reports. Some of them were containing only description saying it's broken, and some of them were really like an ebook, containing lots and lots of information, just too many things that nobody will ever read, and then it's likely that this bug will never get fixed. So let's take a look how to write a good bug report. So the first thing a good bug report should contain is a bug ID. Right, to identify the bug in a system. A unique bug identifier is a must, and it's usually a combination of characters and numbers. The good thing though is if you're using any kind of ticket system in your product or in your product company, usually this system is already taking care of this bug ID. It's covered by the, as I said, it's covered by the defect management system, and it has already like a mechanism to increase the unique bug ID, being a project abbreviation, then maybe some numbers in between or in the end. So it really differs from a management tool to management tool. So that's a really important thing. And here are two examples of a bad bug ID and a good one. So a bad one would be 123. Of course, it's a unique ID, but you might not have but if you have several projects, for example, in your company, you don't know to which bug ID or to which project that bug belongs. So it's much better to add something like that. App XYZ in this example, and then the 123 digit in behind. And this is a combination of the project name and the number. And therefore it's unique, and it's easy to grasp also for outsiders if this bug belongs to project A or to project B. What else should be in a bug report? Of course, a description. A short and meaningful description is necessary in order to provide a really quick overview of the issue. Don't overdo it with the description. Just give a brief introduction of what you have seen, what you have explored. In most of the defect management tools that are out there, a description is also sometimes a headline. So you can put like a headline behind the bug ID. This is then a descriptive title plus a bit more descriptive description in case the tool has it. You should include error codes and sections of the app where the bug occurs, because this already gives a really good overview of for developers, for example, or for product managers, where to categorize this bug, or maybe a developer knows already, in that section I just changed some lines of code and this might be an effect of the changes. Again, here are two examples of something bad and something good. A bad description could be the app crashed, saw an error. A good one could be error code 500 on the detailed message view, for example, or timeout when sending a search request. With that, you already give some descriptive information to the product manager or to the developers in order to get a brief idea of what this bug report is all about. Steps to reproduce. That's key for every bug report that we have here. So you have to provide exact steps to report the issue or to reproduce the issue. That is needed for developers. If you don't provide this kind of information, the steps to reproduce, it's really likely that developers will tell you, hey, I can't reproduce it because they're doing something completely different that you have done. So it's important provide the exact steps. Also, it's important to provide the data that you have been used in order to reproduce the issue or to find the issue. So you really need to make sure to give also the exact data. So for example, data input. Let's say you have a login window and you enter some credentials, some specific characters. Give this information also to the exact steps to reproduce and the data that you have been using. Again, a bad example is, I tried to execute the search. A good one could be, start the app, open the search, enter John Doe in the input field, see the error code 7A3 on the search result page. These are exact steps, reproducible, and in case the bug is in best case is reproducible, this will help the developer in order to get some more information about the bug and also to how to reproduce it. And if it's reproducible, it's likely that it can be fixed. Expected result should also be in your bug report. Expected results are describe what you should expect to happen when the bug occurred. So what are the expected results? Did you expect, for example, a blank page, or did you expect a search result with lists of entries? Again, a bad one is, it should work. I didn't expect a crash. It's a bad expected result. What is a good one? I expected to see a search result page with a scrollable list of 20 entries. That's what I expected. You can already guess the next point in the bug report. What is the actual result? What have you seen while finding the issue? So what happened exactly when the bug occurred? Write down the exact result and exactly what went wrong. Again, the good and the bad, or the bad and the good. It just won't work as bad. It's not really helpful for anyone in the team. A good example would be, the search result page was empty. I got an error code 23392 on the search result page. This is exactly what you get. If you have these steps to reproduce before, remember, somebody opened the app, entered the search section, entered John Doe, and then he was actually expecting to see a search result list of 20 entries. But in this case, he got an error with a different error message. Workaround. This is also really nice information on bug reports. So what are workarounds? So a workaround is something that you find in order to avoid the bug. So let's have an example as a web application, for example. So you have like a search input field, you search for something, and at the same time, for example, you find a workaround. If you say you go to another app section or another website section, and there's also a search entry point, you click that search entry point and it's going to work. This is a really meaningful error message that can also help developers to identify the root cause. It's what I just read here. These steps are important to know and might help to fix the issue. But on the other hand, the workaround could also be helpful information, for example, for customer care people or support people, in order to help the customer to get the bug fixed, right? So imagine there's like a customer complaining, and the customer support agent can tell him like, hey, click here, here, and here, and you get to the result. The customer might be happy. Also tell him that this is a workaround solution, and until the developer has fixed the issue, he or she should use exactly those steps. What is a bad example for a workaround? I found a workaround. A good one is, if I put the device into landscape mode, the search button is enabled and the user can search again. Could be a workaround. Not a nice one, but could be. So what else should be in the bug report? Is it reproducible? Of course, that's an important information for any developer. So provide information if the issue is reproducible all the time. Is it happening every time? That's really good, because then we can fix it. Is the bug only reproducible in 20% of the time? It's also valuable information for the developer. And again, the examples, the bad thing, sometimes. The good example is, the bug occurs 2 out of 10 times. And then if you find exactly like this 2 out of 10 times, for example, maybe you notice something on your test system, Was it under heavy load at that time? Were there anything in the log files? This is also useful information, we come to that in a second, that you should provide to the bug report as well. Operating system and environment. Provide detailed information about the test environment, where you have seen the bug. Was it a pre-production environment, development environment? Was it the production environment? This is really helpful and meaningful information for everyone in the team. Which device and operating system used, as well as the software version. Imagine you're testing on a computer, note down the system that you're using, note down the operating system, the browser version that you have used while testing the application, and when the bug, where the bug occurred. A bad example is here, it happens on Android. Could be anything, right? A good example would be Android version 11 on a Pixel 5 against dev environment with build version 212.2. So this is exactly the information that the developer needs in order to reproduce the issue on that specific operating system version. And if it might be that the bug only occurs on that operating system version, on that device and with that build version, it might be also some edge case that only ties or is connected to the specific OS version. And then you maybe can find a workaround as well. Or you can check your app data usage. In best case, this operating system version is not used anymore by your customers. Then you can just think about avoiding the bug fix. URL or section names. Yeah, of course, you have to add the URL to the bug ticket where the issue occurs, because with that, a developer has an easy access point or entry point to actually try to reproduce the issue. In case of a mobile app, provide the exact section names of views where you have seen the bug. It's again helpful for everyone in the team. Bad is, of course, if there is no URL provided or section. A good example is exactly this test URL. So you have like exactly a good URL example where the issue was found. Device-specific information. This is kind of similar to operating system information and test environment, but it's different, and it's in this case different for mobile apps. So, for example, if the bug was found on a specific device, setup, specification, add this to the report too. Again, it's helpful. A bad thing it would be if you don't provide it at all, so no information. A good one could be GPS was enabled. I changed the orientation from landscape to portrait, or the battery state was at 8%. And this is particularly important for mobile bug reports. So because mobile devices are used in the wild while people are on the go, on the move, and our mobile phones these days are packed with sensors, and they have a different state of information, a different state of health of the battery, for example, and this all could impact your testing activities and could lead to bugs. Network connection. Again, this is something rather for mobile applications, but also if you use your web application on a mobile browser, it's also something that you can add to a bug report. As I said, it's especially useful information when filing a bug report. What was the mobile data network speed or connection speed while using the phone and while finding the issue or saw the issue. A bad one is again no information at all. A good example was the phone was connected to LTE network while walking in the city center of London. This is a meaningful information and helpful information to already think about the issue, also in case it can't be reproduced all the time. It might be related to network speed. So maybe your API is too slow in actually to handle the requests and responses, or it has something to do with the city center. So it's usually a crowded place where many people are connected to the same network cell. And if, for example, the network cell is overloaded with requests, that could also impact your app under test. Language settings. Yes, add the information about the used language while testing the product. Different languages have different width and height and can have an impact to the UI. As I said, some issues might have an impact on the layout, for example. If you have, for example, the German language, which tend to be longer compared to other languages, and there might be some UI glitches that you have like a button with a 2-line name, but it should be a 1-liner, for example. So this is helpful information as well. Again, no information is bad information here. But a good example could be the software language was English, the browser language was English too. Test data. I already mentioned it in the beginning where I talked about these steps to reproduce, but also test data is important to mention in a bug report. Because with the test data and with the help of the test data, it might be much easier for developers to recreate the issue. Sometimes more test data is needed. So maybe then there need to be scripts to generate the test data on the fly before doing the test. If this is the case, please provide the scripts that generate the test data also to the bug report. Add it as an attachment and developers can use it in order to generate the exact same test data that has been used. Again, no information is bad information. A good one would be use the attached JSON file to generate the test data in our development environment. Let's get to severity. Each bug should have a severity to prioritize them according to the risk. This is also usually handled by defect management tools. They provide different kind of information depending on the tool or category. There's low, medium or high severity, and this is something that you should first of all talk to your product manager or to the team if you want to use this entry in the bug management tool, and if you use it, you can use it in order to change the severity and also to prioritize your findings. Bad information is no information, or the other way around. No information is bad. For example, this one is high, depending on the issue found. But this is something usually done, for example, in a triage together with a product manager or with a developer, where you can where you talk about the finding and then you decide, okay, which severity it has, and then you change the value to accordingly. Bug category. Yes, it's important to add this information. Next to the severity, it's also known and important to know what kind of category the bug goes into. So it's helpful, especially for product managers, to identify issues and to prioritize them accordingly. So let's say you find 10 UI issues, 5 performance and 7 app crashes, for example. This is in 3 categories that you can label the bug, for example, and with that the product manager can group them, prioritize them together, and developers can work in one chunk on them, because usually developers like to work on a specific area with a specific focus, and they don't want to jump between UI, performance and app crashes. Again, if you don't provide anything, that's bad. And this could be examples for a good category. Could be functionality is not working, it's UX related or performance related. But again, this might be different from team to team, from product to product, and it's something that you can also create together with your team in, for example, in a retrospective as an action item. You can sit together and define bug categories. Screenshots and videos, yeah, should be a no-brainer, right? But it's really helpful to add screenshots or videos if you have a video of the issue that you want to report, because it shows exactly the developer and it proves that the issue was found. Because I think some of you already heard the thing, it's working on my machine if a developer is trying to reproduce the issue, but if you have proof in terms of a screenshot or video, it gives you some more credibility while providing this information. Use an editing tool to highlight a bug in the screenshot or at the timing of the video. Let's say if you have a video at the exact minutes and seconds where the bug occurs. On screenshots you can use an arrow or like a circle with a different color to highlight the bug. And of course it's also important to add meaningful names to the files. Don't name them screenshot 123 or video 123. Give them exactly a meaningful name, for example app version, app section, or similar things. Here's a bad example. Of course, no screenshots or screenshot 1, as I already mentioned. For example, or a good one could be you number them. If you have like a sequence of screenshots and then you have insert search term or search result page with error and so forth and so forth. Log files. Yeah, of course, you should check the log files in case you find an issue. This should be also a natural thing as a software tester, to have the device connected to a computer or to use developer consoles, for example, on web applications, to see if there are any errors in the logs, and especially if you're testing your product and you find an issue, double check also the log files. There's usually really useful information that you can use to add this to the bug report. It's a useful source of information, I said it just before, and make sure to add the log files to the bug report. But be patient. Log files or log reports tend to be long, because depending on the log level, the application might log everything, like every input, for example, every request response, or you can also filter the log, for example, for warnings, for crashes, or for similar things. And make sure to add this to the bug report. Again, no information provided, or provide the full stack trace in the bug report, or attach the log file to the report. Who found the bug? Write down who found the bug. It might be not you filling the report. It could be colleagues, it could be users, it could be a stakeholder, a customer. So this is important to know. It's also usually covered by the bug management tool. In case it's not covered, please provide this information, because there tend to be questions. If, for example, a product manager, a developer, or you as a tester have question to the bug, you have a contact person, and you can call him, her, write him, her a message to actually get some more information in case the bug report wasn't as good as we have seen it right now. As I said, add the contact details to report. A bad thing is, again, to provide no information. And the good thing is, in this case, yes, it's me, Daniel Knott. You can see my email address. Feel free to give me some feedback if you like. This is valuable information on a bug report. And that's it, basically. So these were many categories that you have seen in a bug report. But there's one more or a couple of more things that you should keep in mind when creating bug reports or when you're filing issues. Don't get personal, right? I mean, we have seen it, or we have all been there in the situation that you're really angry that nothing is working on the application, and it get really it's really annoying to work on the product in the product state, for example, and that you don't want to write any bug reports anymore, and maybe you have also some conflict with a developer, for example. But please don't get personal. Try to be as open-minded, as natural as possible, because it can harm also other people. It's not you. Don't take it personal. So it's not you causing the bug, right? It's not you bringing the bad information. It's part of our job to create bug reports, but it's also part of the job of a product manager, of a developer, to create bug reports. So don't take it personal in case you find a problem. Some people tend to put it on their shoulders, like, oh, I found another bug report, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry about that. You just make everything transparent in the project, and that's helpful information for everyone. So it's not about you. That's the important message here. And last but not least, keep it simple. I know you have seen many categories that I showed you in this video. I think it were like up to 17 different categories, but still try to keep it simple. Add only the information that is really necessary in order to reproduce the issue and in order to fix the issue. Don't overdo it with information, because if you tend to write a book, nobody will read it as a bug report. And with that, I'm done with my video for today. Thank you for coming by. I hope you liked the video. If so, it would be nice to subscribe to my channel and to leave me a thumbs up. And yeah, come by next time and have a nice day. Bye bye.